Yes, it's John G. Sutton, Tales from the Jails. Today I'm going to talk about a place called HMP Bronzefield, which is down in Surrey, I believe. And there's been a lady there in prison for a period of time who is now known by the name of Sharron Carr. She is, or was, Britain's youngest murderer. At the age of 12, this Sharron Carr stabbed 32 times a lady called Katie Radcliffe, who was 18 at the time, stabbed her to death. And didn't just stab her anywhere, stabbed her specifically in her genitals and in her breasts. And apparently was reported as saying that she found that this was extremely exciting because she loved hearing the screams of her victim. Sharron Carr is now applying for parole. She's coming up for parole, and basically in the past she's had parole refused, and she's been held in what's known as restricted prisoner status. In the past, among her murderous offences, she has decapitated a dog using a spade, which I would think takes a little bit of doing, but she obviously did it. She must be a strong lady. How horrible is that? Decapitating a dog. Yeah, she's been held in restricted location in HMP Bronzefield, and is awaited. I believe it's next month she's going for parole. So we have to collectively wish Sharron Carr all the best on her application for parole, and I trust that she is going to be treated with the compassion that is due. I hope you all agree with that. HMP Bronzefield is a private prison, an abomination in my eyes. Private prisons, an abomination. Whoever at the Home Office decided that they were going to allow private companies to run prisons and private companies are not there for the benefit of the nation. Private companies are there for the benefit of the shareholders, the people who actually own it. And if you think it's reasonable that your relatives or yourself even should be imprisoned, incarcerated for the profits of people who own the shares, then I'm afraid I can't agree with you. Whoever has allowed this at the Home Office should try a couple of weeks in somewhere like HMP Bronzefield. Yeah, and they run 5 prisons in Britain, one of which is HMP Forest Bank, which has got approximately 1,400 inmates. Sodexo was founded by a man called Pierre Bellon, who is a French, or was a French, billionaire. He died at the age of 92. He wrote his biography, and his biography is titled I Had a Great Time. Well, being a billionaire, Pierre Bellon, I am sure you did. Unlike the poor bastards that are locked into places like HMP Bronzefield, where numerous net deaths have occurred, found by the coroner's court and the inquests to be by neglect. Apparently the health services there are so bad that one poor lady who was pregnant gave birth in her cell unaccompanied. They obviously don't know what they're doing, do they? Or if they do know what they're doing, they aren't doing it. There's recently been a big demonstration, I think it was last weekend, outside HMP Bronzefield, when they were protesting about pregnant women in prison, saying that they shouldn't be there. The problem is, of course, that pregnant women will commit offences, and the criminal justice system requires that they be incarcerated. And the Home Office require that they be incarcerated for the profit of companies such as Sodexo. Yeah. Absolutely disgraceful in my humble opinion. And whilst I've never been at Sodexo, it looks a modern prison. It houses 527 female inmates. It's exclusively a female prison, but they are now negotiating to open a male prison built on the side of HMP Bronzefield. I believe it's somewhere near Slough. I don't know. What was it John Betjeman said? Come, friendly bombs, and fall on Slough. It isn't fit for humans now. Seriously, John Betjeman wrote that, yeah. So that's a little bit about what's happened, what I see today. HMP Bronzefield, absolutely disgraceful. One inmate died, her name was Ms. Chin, yeah? I don't know her first name, but Ms. Chin. She rang her cell bell. The cell bell didn't work. She was suffering from some medical problem, and when they did find her, she was dead. Yeah. And the coroner's court found that this was negligence. She'd apparently previously asked the prison staff to get her medical help, and of course nobody had. The problem that you've got in places like HMP Bronzefield is that the staff are being paid virtually the minimum wages. Now, if the staff are being paid next to nothing, you're going to get the wrong kind of recruits. I mean, when I went to join the prison service, I applied in 1974. It was considered to be a career. That was a mistake. It wasn't a career. It was just opening and closing doors. But they marketed the idea of taking the job as a career. And when you came out of the army, you were offered, the careers officer suggested that you look at the prison service. So, especially if you'd been an NCO in the army, because that's what the prison service wanted. But what the prison service didn't realise was that the inmates had got no idea how to accept a direct order. Nowadays, they're not recruiting ex-soldiers, ex-NCOs from the British Army. They're recruiting 18-year-old girls, and 18-year-old boys, because they can pay them the minimum wage, and that's what they're doing, and it's an absolute disgrace, and it should not be allowed. It's an insult to the integrity of this country, and the government should be doing something about it, but no, they won't, because nobody wants to know what happens in prison. Anyway, that's my little rant today, and I'm not going to sing to you again. I'm not going to sing to you, but I am going to read you one of my poems. And this is a poem about one of my favourite areas, favourite counties in Great Britain. It's Shropshire. I particularly like Shropshire. There's an area there called Clun. I like Clun. Go and have a look. I also go to Ludlow. I stayed at the Feathers at Ludlow many times. And it's got a nice castle in Ludlow. Go and have a look. Shropshire is a beautiful land. And there is a book of poetry out there by the poet A.E. Houseman. And the book of poems is called A Shropshire Lad. I'll recite you one off the top of my head. Into my heart an air that kills from yon far country blows. What are those blue remembered hills? what spires, what churches those? That is the land of lost content. I see it shining plain, those happy highways where I went, and cannot come again. Yeah, that's from A Shropshire Lad by A.E. Houseman. If you've not read it, I highly recommend that you get a copy off Amazon for something and nothing. Anyway, this is a poem I wrote to Shropshire. A beautiful place, and it's called Shropshire Mists. By John G. Sutton, by the way. Far from bustling highways, beyond the city's grime, there is a land that stands untouched by the hurtful hand of time. Castle walls may crumble at Ludlow and quiet Clun, but in the mists of Shropshire, England's heart is young. There, where the Severn shimmers and softly falls the rain, in many a silent churchyard, the long dead wake again. Merry Jack and his Betty from Knighton dance once more, as the bells of Hewley steeple ring round the hills of yore. The spirits of marching soldiers tramp through the silent vales, and in the taverns stop to drink, then tell their oft-told tales. In moonlit fields the teams still plough, though the crops are memories, whilst through the woods run lads long gone, their bones like broken trees. There upon the Wrekin Roman legions stamp their mark. At Wenlock Edge the campfires burn and light the clouded dark. Come summer's morn to Shropshire, where England stands today, and in the mists remember this, our ghosts will walk always. I hope you enjoyed that. The Wrekin is an area of Shropshire. On Wenlock Edge is an area of Shropshire. On Wenlock Edge the wood's in trouble, the forest fleece. That's another part of the poem by A.E. Houseman. But do read A.E. Houseman, you'll like that. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed today's Tales from the Jails. Do like and subscribe. And don't forget to watch on the second Tuesday in the month of October at 6 p.m. we're going to have a Q&A, 1 hour live here on Tales from the Jails.